In this example, I'm going to show you how to connect to a database using a PDO connection. And the good thing about PDO connections is that it doesn't necessarily need to be a MySQL connection. You can connect to other types of databases as well. But for the purposes of this lesson, we already have a MySQL database up and running. So we're going to give that a shot and we're going to connect to our up and running database. So with the PDO connection, we do have the exception class, which allows us to handle any of the problems. And that's why we start out with a try. So we try to do that connection, and if there are any issues with the connection, then we do a catch, and the catch will handle any of the errors or issues that might come up. If there are any errors thrown in the try, then we can output them in the catch, and we can stop the execution of the script within that value as well. So the variable I'm going to use, as I've been using before, is going to be link. And of course, this can be anything that you want. We set it up similar to the way that we do our objects. So we get new PDO. And then this is where we specify the type of database. So this is going to be a MySQL database. And we need to specify the host as well. So we do host, and we're going to equal it to our DB underscore host. So that's coming from that settings file where we've already set the host value. And we also need to set a database name that we want to connect to. So similar type of format, and of course if you had that information you could write it directly into the string here, but because we're using that settings file, I'm just linking to these global values. So DB, and our name was under DB name, and then we just need to add in the DB user and DB pass to complete our connection. And then within the catch, so what I want to do here is I want to print out any errors that might happen. So within, if we're throwing any errors or something, something goes wrong, so maybe we could just print out an error. And we can also, just as we did with the MySQL, we can output that error information. So within the catch, so it's a PDO exception, and we're going to pass it as a value for error. That was too many R's there. And so now we've got error as an object, and we can get message. And so we can print out that returned information from that object. And then usually it's a good idea to add in the die so the script stops executing. So when we do throw an error there, we want the script to ultimately stop executing. So let's take a look and see how this works out. So when I refresh it, so it looks like it's connecting, so I should actually put something in here to show that it is connecting. So I'm going to make it throw an error first, and we're going to do the same thing that we did before where we update that password information, and we can see that it throws that error access denied for root because we've got the wrong password in there. So it is working, and we do need to add something in here so that maybe if we want to know that it's connected, so we can do something like connected as well. And then of course you can also add in the closing of the connection. So if we don't want to leave this connection open, we could do link, and we could equal that to null. And then at this point, then this is where we're going to actually close that connection, so it's no longer going to be open. And that's how you do a PDO connection to a MySQL database using PHP.